Jack Denmo podcast. Check it out. What's up, guys? Welcome to the podcast. Finally, just over 4 years in the making, I'm starting a new podcast. And I originally started one in 2017, and then I decided to finally get back to it right now. But why now? Well, for those of you that are interested, I will break it down for you. And then also an overview of what to expect. Here we go. Number one, I had a moment of self-realization. It's not about me anymore. It's about everyone else. So my original YouTube channel started accidentally, and it was about me and my friends doing fun stuff. I got consumed by the views, the money, the hype, and was essentially chasing something that I never even really wanted in the first place. Now, you could say that the videos I did were for everyone else, and that is true, but what was the message and the purpose besides making people laugh? Drunk interviews and pranks are just raw entertainment. They are funny, but they don't necessarily teach you much, besides that people tell the truth when they're drunk. Sex, alcohol, messing with others, these are all things that naturally draw people in. Hence why channels that sell that type of content are so massive right now, and why I built essentially 1 million followers. Humans inherently fling to these things like flies to a light bulb. But like junk food, it tastes good but leaves you feeling bad and craving more. So I'm steering away from that content because it's more important for me to lead you all in the right direction long term. Now, I'm still going to make silly videos on my other channel, but this is more of the mature angle. Number two, young men need help and guidance, but they need it from somebody young. I'll give you guys an example. I have many mentors and people that I look up to and listen to. For example, Jordan Peterson. Jordan is great. Many of my friends love the guy, but he's nearly 60 years old. And it's a lot harder for young people to find him because it's not who their friends are listening to necessarily. They need somebody around the same age as them. The channels of Jordan Peterson and many of these other guys passing down amazing advice and wisdom are littered with comments saying, man, I wish I knew about this when I was 25. I wish I knew this when I was 30. I wish I knew this when I was 18. The majority of the base are guys in their 30s, 40s, 50s who had to live through life and experience hardships before they turned to someone like this. They were forced to swallow the pill as opposed to being exposed to it when they were younger. It was after they went through those painful experiences, not before. I'm like that too, to an extent. I've learned a lot these last few years that I wish I knew when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, and the list goes on. Now, the point I'm getting at is I can take advantage of this and get people to learn a lot of the truths of life now as opposed to later, as well as talk to funny, interesting people from a young guy perspective, not just a 40, 50, 60-year-old guy interviewing other successful people. You guys usually consume stuff made by people your own age because it's relatable. And there's a huge youth bias to younger content creators. But most of the stuff being put out there by people our age is junk food. And I feel obligated to do better, even though I am a troll a lot of the time. Number three, guest quality. What do most people click for? Celebrities, influencers, TikTokers, aka junk food. People are consumed by drama, gossip, as well as follower counts, likes, social media, and other junk. They get views, so you go and watch because you think, well, hey, if it gets views, it must be good, right? Wrong. And I'm not saying it's wrong to waste time watching stuff on YouTube and have fun on social media. For whatever reason, I just have this huge weight of the universe and burden to change the world on my shoulders, and I can't help it. And I feel like me doing this podcast is going to help you guys. And if I help you guys, it helps me. So I'm kind of crazy. I'm kind of a psychopath, but that's one of the reasons that got me super fired up for this podcast, you know? Also, I have to add, this isn't to say it's not useful talking to actors, musicians, whatever. I definitely will have them on too. I fucking love movies and I love rock music, so I'm gonna have a bunch of bands on. But it's meant to be more about education. Experts in the field, medical professionals, lawyers, economics, real estate, scientific research, high achievers in entrepreneurship, authors, and etc. The best example I could give would be something similar to Joe Rogan, of course, because everybody essentially was inspired to do a podcast by him. But he has anybody on. His friends that are comedians, but then like super high level astronauts or experts in physics that would bore the fuck out of most people. But for me, I'm way into that shit. You know, for example, he had Randall Carlson on who talked for hours about the Ice Age and all these weird formations in the earth that were caused from climate change, and man, that shit fired me up. I would love to talk to those guys over a big fucking YouTuber any day of the week. So these episodes are going to get weird too. And I don't give a fuck if it gets 100 views. I'm still doing it. But I know that there's people out there that are like me and like these really weird, unique guests. So I'm doing it for you guys. What I also like about this is that I get to learn. I fucking love to learn, guys. I'm always reading weird ass articles on Wikipedia and shit. So if I get to talk to them, it's just an excuse for me to learn about all this cool stuff I'm interested in. Number 4, having a podcast was my original plan. Ever since I was a young boy, I grew up listening to the radio with my dad. I loved local classic rock stations here in Toronto, such as Q107 and Y108. And as I got older, I started listening to Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan. I loved that they were able to get top-level experts on their show to share inspiring stories and important knowledge. I always thought, man, I would love to do that. I also loved having nobodies on and talking about absolute nonsense for 4 hours as well. If any of you guys do remember my old podcast, I would literally get my classmates from school and we would talk for like 4 hours about random shit like what to do if the earth had a huge tsunami and we needed to escape and zombies came. Just like really weird conversations. But the point I'm getting at is like the podcast is the perfect mix because you get this incredibly intimate conversation with one person and then you can talk about absolutely anything. And there's no pressure, there's no notes. You can just raw dog it. You can wing it. And if it's not good, fuck it, who cares? Now, this was in about 2017. I was in business school and I started my personal YouTube channel, Life of Jack. I had about 1,000 subscribers and I started a podcast. It was called Pioneer Podcast. It was raw, anywhere from like 2 to 4 hours long. I had 3 camera angles, but 2 of the cameras would die about an hour in, so I ended up just using 1 camera angle. It basically was a very budget production, but it was my dream at the time. Each episode was incredibly fulfilling to me because for those 3 hours, it was just me and that other person, completely in the present moment. No phones, no distractions, just 2 people having an intimate conversation. And I always got an amazing feeling of positive energy afterwards. I was like, man, this is the fucking sauce. So I started filming it and it was going really good. But each episode only got 100 to 200 views. In contrast, these drunk interviews, parties, and pranks were getting minimum several thousand, and it took way less editing as well. The podcast itself was grueling. It took me about 6 hours to transfer over all the footage, sequence it, render it, and I eventually made the decision that at that time, the juice just wasn't worth the squeeze. I remember very clearly having a moment where I was sitting at my podcast desk thinking to myself, man, if I could just get to 100,000 subscribers, then I would have enough of a base to start a podcast, and that could just be my job. It's pretty funny in retrospect. Right after that, I started getting lots of views, money, and external validation from other types of content. Like I mentioned before, it was no longer really about my own interest, but what got me the approval of others. I've seen a load of YouTubers fall into this trap. They're flexing constantly on social media, but privately they are fucking miserable. It's a well-kept secret in the industry. So once I hit 100,000 subs, instead of taking it easy and starting the pod, I was like, that's cool, but now I need 200. Now I need 300. And so on, and it ends up being a never-ending cycle. Now, what is most valuable about this is that I got to live this life, and I still am living it. See the spoils of the followers, the wealth, the fame, and the infame, and by infame I mean newspapers, universities, police departments, and TV stations essentially trying to cancel me, ban me, and put dirt on my name. There's haters and detractors accusing me of doing shit I never did, and just a fucking load of stuff that I never really thought about when I was getting into this game of making these online videos. It was still worth it though, so no regrets. But I also got to experience the way people treat you differently when you have money, clout, or followers. Not just fans or normal people, but wealthy, high-level people. Big YouTubers who didn't give me the light of day until I was popping online. As I said before, all of this is a priceless experience that I can pass on to you guys since many of you are now growing up glued to your phones and obsessing over social media. In the past, they polled young kids about what they wanted to be when they grow up. The top 5 were generally doctor, lawyer, teacher, singer, firefighter. Now, besides singer, you could agree that these jobs are all heroic and noble duties where you can help the less fortunate and contribute value to your fellow human being and make good money accordingly. But now the top 5 are YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagrammers, and influencers. Because the dopamine in our brain has trained us to fucking love and be addicted to that reward system of external validation on our phones. It's about vanity, materialistic items, big mansions, money, followers, and the never-ending cycle of always posting the absolute best angles and experiences for the masses to look up to and unintentionally compare themselves to. This is something I felt prey to myself, and I've gone through periods where I compare myself to others and didn't feel very good, right? Now, I will say there are absolutely successful YouTubers out there that are positive influences and they know how to handle social media. But most people don't, because we have monkey brains and we just start rolling through there, sending alarm bells off in our brains going, ooh, that feels good. Oh, this behavior is a symptom of what young people have been exposed to. And I've experienced it firsthand doing these videos with me and my friends. And we were all drinking this Kool-Aid too. Of course, that's what people would want to be, because it's all me and my friends consume. It's just social media influencers living this amazing, awesome life. But now it's also affecting young developing minds who are going to go through high school and not want to do anything that doesn't get them likes on social media. There are definitely exceptions and people that have all the self-control in the world. But as much as we all like to think that we can control social media, it controls us. Our monkey brains just can't handle it. It is very challenging for us to use it in a healthy manner. This is something that I've personally experienced and am well aware of. I've seen the symptoms of it in myself, my close friends, girlfriends, and thousands of young people that I have met and talked to in real life. I feel obligated and driven to help the younger and older generations avoid the wormholes like this in real life and also discover new ideas. Listen to people that they wouldn't necessarily listen to if it wasn't me talking to them. Find out new practices, cool people, strategies to improve their life while being entertained, guys. The whole point of this is to make you guys laugh and learn, okay? So make no doubt about it, this isn't going to be boring lectures. It's still going to be funny, and there will be fun guests too, but like I said, sometimes your purpose finds you, and I rediscovered my initial purpose to provide value and entertain people. But now, instead of it being junk food, it will be healthy food. Well, healthier anyway. I'm still going to go off the fucking rails all the time. Anyways, congratulations to all of you who made it to the end of this video. I want you to leave a comment below, but not just any comment. I want you to tell me about you. Your age, location, status, occupation, and what you want out of life. It can be short-term goals such as getting a job, move to a new city, graduate medical school, as well as long-term goals like buy a farm, grow some corn, become a musician, or open up a non-profit museum, or help pay off your parents' debt. Or just bang as many chicks as possible. It doesn't matter. Drop it in the comments below. Whatever it is, consider this your accountability checkpoint. Today is day 1. So write it down and then come back and check on it every few days, weeks, months, and update us on your progress. We're all in this together, guys. We're all on this journey of self-improvement. And what I also like about this is that all you guys that are getting in here are here from day 1. Because let's be honest, the first 50, 100 podcast episodes, nobody listens to those. Like, my favorite podcasts, I didn't start watching them until they were already going off and they were already in the 200s or 300s, right? Because it takes a lot of time to get comfortable on camera. It takes a lot of time to build up to getting interesting guests and essentially get smooth enough to get people to pay attention to you for 1 to 3 hours. So you guys that are all here are early adapters, and that fires me up. So all of us together are going to have a little secret, okay? And that little secret is going to be King of the North. This is for all the diehards and the guys that find hidden videos like this. You guys know what's up. So whenever I post something, whether it's a photo, video on Instagram, YouTube, whatever, say King of the North, okay? Because everybody's going to be joining the train later. But you guys are at the station from day 1, okay? So you're all my Kings of the North too. Anyways, guys, glad you listened to me absolutely ramble for 10 or whatever minutes about this podcast that's probably going to suck for the first 50 episodes. But anyways, I appreciate you guys. I'm really excited about it, so I was like, fuck it. I'll do a video on it, okay? I don't give a fuck. Love you guys, and hope you enjoy the podcast. Also, let me know in the comments below who you want to see as some of the guests, okay? Cheers. Love you.